It's just so sad. Hello everyone and welcome to CFC Fan TV. Now, I hope you all had a lovely weekend, but I'm pretty sure that your Sunday sort of put a down spell on things because unfortunately it was another loss for us. I'm going to start by saying I met somebody at my work the other day because I waitress part-time, and they came in and they said, Sophie, they noticed me, and normally it's all really lovely comments, but they said to me, oh, Sophie, you always moan about everything, and you always moan about the manager and this and that and whatever, and that's just not actually the case. But you guys tell me how we can put a good spin on what's happening at the moment, because there isn't one. And we know in the summer, which I'll get into later on in this video, that we don't have the resources to be able, we don't have the ability to be able to buy players. As it stands, we still have a transfer ban. So if things aren't going well at the moment, if someone could please comment below and let me know how they think things are going to improve with our current state and why I should be in a good mood, why I should be happy about our current situation, then let me know. But at the moment, all I'm seeing is a team that's majorly underperforming, players that, okay, fine, there might be a few tweaks here and there that we can make. Again, I can't stress enough that currently we're not able to make them, so we have to deal with what we've got. We've got some great players that aren't performing very well, and we're going to hopefully in this video discuss why that is. I'll recap on Everton then. That is 3 points that we should easily be getting. Everton, to me, have majorly underperformed. I mean, there was a time a few years ago we were talking about them, progressing into the top six and not knowing, how things were going there. But I think they lost quite a lot of their good players, so the likes of John Stones, etc. So I think that slowly they've gone downhill. And if we can't salvage 3 points there, I've been to Everton quite a few times. I went last season. It was great, if I'm being honest. So it's a long journey up there for fans to make. I think it's about 4.5 hour train on a Sunday, because obviously Sunday train's slower. And to go and watch that performance, I think is incredibly disheartening. And I'll start with the first half. I had Everton fans tweeting me in, because I watched it in the pub here in Fulham. They were tweeting me and saying, you're all over us. But at the end of the day, yeah, okay, fine, the first half we're all over them, but we didn't convert one goal out of all of that. We didn't create any, we didn't make any of that possession matter when it's needed most. And you always hear on TV, and I really hate those games where you could say you dominated, but you didn't get the goal, and then it ends up being on the counter attack or for silly mistakes during the game, like the penalty. Whether you thought it was a penalty or not, me and Sammy agreed, didn't we, Sam, that it was a penalty, and Alonso did give that away. And we'll get on to Alonso in a minute and what a terrible game he had. There's so many things to discuss in this game, and there's not really many positives. The only positive I will take from it, maybe slightly, that Pedro had an okay performance, didn't get enough service, but at the end of the day, I think the whole team performance was poor. So again, I don't really want to big up any players too much or give too much gratitude when things aren't going very well at the moment. My main point here is that I think in the first half, we had all that possession, and we've seen this time and time again throughout this season that we have not been able to convert any of that into a goal. We've not had the upfront needed. Higuain's come in, hasn't really made an impact, but I don't think that's all his fault. I think that's collectively as a team, we're just not performing well. So it depends how you look at it, really. You can say Sarri's philosophy is working up until a point of, he's getting the ball into that box. His style of play is getting the ball into that box, and then we're not able to convert that into a goal. But at the end of the day, we just aren't winning games. We're losing games that we should be winning. And I fail to believe that it's just down to us, the team, not gelling well together. I think this, more than anything, is a team that don't want to play for the manager. You guys can say whatever you want. I mean, I've heard that they train a lot later in the day, and some of them aren't happy about that. Which may be bizarre to us, but I think if you're used to getting up at 9 a.m. every morning and then you suddenly are moved to starting training at 1 o'clock, that's going to piss you off. Excuse my language, but it's true. So I think there are all sorts of things about that unsettle players, and it might not be things that we understand because we have to get up no matter what time of the day to go to work and, make a living. But at the end of the day, we don't play football, and we're not sportsmen. So if that's something they don't want to do and we want to get results out of a team, for me, just train them earlier. But, the manager doesn't want to do that. So that's one thing. I think they're not responding to him. I think we started off the season very well, and then slowly it deteriorated. And yes, we've had a long ongoing situation with not being able to find a decent striker, but I don't think you can blame it all on that. I think just collectively we are not putting in good enough performances, and I think teams do not fear us. I think especially, I mean, when you're coming to the likes of Everton and Wolves, whoever else, it's almost quite clear that those teams, when they go to play City or they go to play United, Liverpool, teams that we should be up there competing with, I bet they all get really scared and they think, okay, we're probably going to lose this game, but we'll give it our best go. With Chelsea, I think they go into the game thinking, okay, I really think we can get 3 points here. And especially for the bottom half teams and the teams that are fighting relegation, I think, we're going to play Cardiff next, and I don't think they need to be worried, to be honest. And I think Cardiff are awful. But do you think I have confidence going into that game? We put on a performance like that against Everton? Obviously not. So it's one thing for everybody to say that I moan all the time, but at the end of the day, I feel sorry for all the match-going fans that have to travel up there. I feel sorry for all of us fans that have to watch it week in, week out. And we're not just watching not just watching us lose 3 points, we're watching really poor football. We're watching really dull football. I've never seen so many fans this year say, I've left the game, I'm going home. I myself will admit I've left twice this season early. One was Tottenham and the other was Wolves, because I just had enough of it. And I think as a fan that's been going, I moved to London when I was 19, but I think my dad started taking me when I was 15, 16. I've always watched Chelsea. Prior to that, obviously, I'm a Chelsea fan, and my dad's raised me being a Chelsea fan, but I lived in Devon, so coming up to London was like a bit of a luxury. So, I understand why fans can't get to the games all the time. But, ever since then, I've made it, to every single game. I used to work in the pub next door, and the idea that the deal I had with my manager at the time was, I'll work a 15-hour shift, but if I can go to the football during that, and he let me do that. And that was the sort of dedication I had to our team. And I don't really feel like we're getting the credit we deserve from the players, from anyone really. So yeah, I'm not just blaming it all on Sarri. I think the players just can't be bothered to play for him. I think I think the player power is a huge thing, of course. But the reason I'm saying Sarri has to go so early on, and this will be a separate video, is because we've seen this happen with Conte, we've seen this happen with Mourinho, so I don't know why we're prolonging the inevitable. They don't want him there, and I think when Eden Hazard leaves, I think he's going to leave this summer. Me and Charlie are almost certain of it. It basically means that we're not going to be left with a lot, and we want to get into top 4, and I don't see how we're going to get into top 4 with this team. I think Everton was a prime example of teams, embarrassing us, and we're being compared to Arsenal, for God's sake. This just cannot happen. I think Tottenham is a completely different thing in itself, because they're a team that perform very well up until the end of the season, no matter who their manager is. But with us, we've always for me been a top side for years and years. So it's really, really upsetting, and it's very irritating to watch these games, week in, week out at the moment, when we're just playing football that I don't think we're not what us fans used to watching, but at the same time just thinking, this isn't how we normally play. I know we're capable of doing better than this. So I think our star players are major underly performing. I think it's time to probably move Kante back into his normal position, whether you like it or not. He's one of the best holding midfielders in the world. I'm all up for changing it up, and I sort of at the start of the season when Sarri said he was going to move him, I said, this will be a good idea. Not a good idea, but I'm willing to experiment, and if it works, it works, and that's fantastic. And he did, he got one of the first goals of the season, so that was brilliant. But it's not working now, and I think when you take such an amazing, a world-class player out of his position, it's not working for this long. That is time when you need to move him back. The whole Jorginho aspect of our game, again, will need to be discussed, and that is something, fans, especially match-going fans, I sit in the shut-up every week, and we are, fans don't like the way Jorginho is playing, and I hear it around me. So that sadly has deteriorated as well. Our up-front situation is not good. Higuain hasn't done much, whether you can say it's because of lack of service or just in a general. He hasn't done much to come into the club. Our back line is struggling. I think Alonso's had more than enough chances now to sort of regain his place in the team permanently. And another thing that really angers me, and what I'll end this video on, is his substitutions yesterday were Giroud, and he brought on Hudson-Odoi. He sort of brought on players that we've seen perform really well during the week, get goals, feel like they're hungry to play, bringing them on in the last 30 minutes of the game, 20 minutes of the game. to me, I think, if I'm being honest, it was just a bit too late. I would have started with them. I would have started with these players. How Hudson-Odoi is not getting in the team, I do not understand. This isn't a case like before where we had Loftus-Cheek and he wasn't getting enough game time when we still had, Frank Lampard or Jason, whoever in the team. We had good midfielders. He was never going to get in the side ahead of Matic or whoever we had in the side at the time. And now we've got to a point where the system clearly isn't working all round, and you still don't include him. So if I was Hudson-Odoi, I'd be incredibly disappointed. I thought Giroud had a great game midweek. I don't care who it was against. We need somebody to score goals. He's scoring goals, so give him a chance if everything else isn't working out. I don't know. I'm out of options. So you guys comment below and let me know what you thought of this video. There is nothing positive to take from this video. There is nothing for me to be excited about. It is going to be a moany video because we're not performing very well. So comment below, let me know your thoughts on the Everton game. I'm incredibly disappointed with how we played. I'm incredibly disappointed with how we played against Wolves even. I just think we're having a really bad run at the moment, and I don't think other teams in the Premier League or pundits or anybody else who has to comment on our performance is giving us any credit either, because they know that we're basically being laughed at the moment, and to me that's not acceptable, and I feel sorry for the fans at the moment. So comment below, let me know your thoughts. Please subscribe. On a positive note, please subscribe to this channel, and yeah, my next video is going to be on Sarri, which I'm sure a lot of you Sarri fans will love, but it has to be done.